Slowly.
The world is full of colors I can no longer see.
It's on?
Oh, there we go.
There we go.
All right. That's an engineer.
Emma. Good afternoon, everybody.
Honey, let go of it. Let go of it.
For you that don't know me, I'm John Gruba. I'm Cheryl's brother and Gary's close friend. We have known each other a lifetime. And we're here today to celebrate Bob Peterson's life. Show him the gratitude of everything he has done for us through all these years. You know, it's very hard when we lose somebody like Bob, but we have to keep the memories alive. We got to put that DVR in our head and play all those great moments that happened in life. I know that when I was younger, I had a lot of problems, and my mother would not let me go out of the house, only with Bob in March. That's when I got to travel. So I got to go to Grandma Webble's cabin. We walked up Friendship Mountain. Also, Bob took Gary and I to see the Batman movie. And I'm talking about the one a long time, Adam West. That kind of Batman movie. And the other time is that I never seen Bob get mad except once. I was a minor, I just want to say that out front. Gary was the adult, and he kept me out to 2 o'clock in the morning, looking for the Baha'i Temple in Wilmette. When we returned home, of course, who was standing on my front porch? My mother and Bob. We got out of the car, nobody said a word. They went home, and I went home. But I'm glad to see everybody here that has known Bob, known the family. You know, it's just overwhelming when somebody great like this passes on. We want everybody to live forever, but that's, you know, that doesn't happen. But the memories are just really, really impressed in me, because like I said, I've known them all my life. I'd like to read a little poem. I know that no matter what, you will always be with me. When life separates us, I know it's only your soul saying goodbye to your body. But your spirit will always be with me. When I see a bird chirping in the tree, I know that you sing it to me. When a butterfly brushes gently by me, I know that's you, reassuring me you are free from pain. When the gentle fragrance of flowers catches my attention, I know you're reminding me to appreciate all the little things in life. When the sun is shining through my window and awakens me and I feel the warmth of your love. When I hear the rain pitter-patter against the window, I hear your words of wisdom. And I remember what you taught me so well, that without rain, trees cannot grow. Without rain, flowers cannot bloom. Without life's challenges, I cannot be strong. When I look out at the sea, I will think of the endless love for your family. When I think of the mountains, their majesty and magnificence, I will think of your courage for your country. No matter where I am, your spirit will be beside me. For I know that no matter what, you will always be with me. Thank you. And Gary has a few words to say.
My father deserves a Viking funeral. We sent him in a long ship with his helmet, ratty helmet, and that cane with a sword, and surround him with the skulls and sabers of his enemies. The problem with that is he had no enemies. Everyone here he would have called a friend. My dad, along with my mom, were extremely friendly people. They befriended everyone they ever met. even if it was just, a momentary, oh, here's the guy who's mowing the lawn or something like that, he's a friend of mine. My dad was a genuine good guy. A gentle man. He taught me and my sister, through his example, to keep your friends close and be with them lifelong. They are your extended family. So welcome, friends all, to the Viking funeral of my dad. We're going to say farewell to a man who knew the value of love, friendship, and kindness, and the devotion to your friends. Okay, everyone knows how much I like Tolkien. Okay, so today's reading is from the tale of Aragorn and Arwen, and I threw a little from Beren and Luthien in there. If you know these characters, Aragorn was the king, and Arwen was his wife. Did I say something funny?
It's Tolkien.
Tolkien talking. As Aragorn lay dying, please, someone. As Aragorn lay dying, he says to his wife Arwen, "In sorrow, yes, we must go, but not in despair. Behold, we are not forever bound to the circles of this world, and beyond them is more than memory. And though they were parted at that time, it is sung that they met once again beyond the sundering seas, and walked together, hand in hand, on green grass in the undying lands." And that's my Tolkien thing. So, here's what we do. We set him in his longship. We light the torches. We say farewell to a gentle man, a good guy. And rest assured that right now, he holds his hands with the love of his life, my mom, in green grass in the undying lands. I knew I couldn't get through all this stuff. That's my that's my bit. Is anybody else? I know Susie wanted to say something. Cheryl, do you want to speak for a moment, or if not, anyone who wishes to speak, this is when. Okay. Thank you very much.
Today, we are all here to remember and celebrate the life of Robert Peterson, who has now joined the love of his life, Marjorie Darlene Reimer Peterson. My name is Suzanne Potthast. My father, Richard, grew up with Robert. My dad always called him Robert. They met on Kenmore in Chicago when they were 10 years old, and that's what Bob told me. Bob's birthday was January 29th, 1927, and my dad was December 6th, 1927. So I would guess they met in the middle of the year in 1937. When I would visit Bob, I always asked him questions about growing up in the old neighborhood. I think his best story was going to Lasser's soda pop factory with my dad. He said that for a nickel, you could get 2 big bottles of pop. They got cream soda, and they sat on the stoop in front of Lasser's and drank it, and they would take the orange pop and drink that later. They would also get 7-layer cakes from Schmeissing's Bakery on the corner of Lincoln and Kenmore. And he said the dads, as I called them, would sit and eat that together. They both went to Agassiz School, and Bob told me after a few years of high school, he decided to join the Marines. Bob was very proud of the fact he was a Marine. Bob told me they lived at 3 different places on Kenmore, 2764, 2725, and 2727. When they moved to the building next door, which would have been 2725 and 2727, he said they put a board across and they slid their boxes across on a board. I think he thought that was pretty cool. Later, when his sister Judy was born, she was born when they lived on Kenmore, and he always doted on his sister Judy. When Bob married Margie, it was at the house on Drummond. My dad was his best man, and every time I would visit Bob, he always told the staff, "This is my best man's daughter." I know they honeymooned at the Dells, and Margie told me it was such a nice motel they looked for it but could never find it again. Bob's other good friend was Helmut Eplin. They met at a camera shop, of course, and they spent a lot of time together taking pictures. Helmut told me that when he married, Bob was his best man. When my family moved to Wisconsin, the Petersons would visit. Bob's first stop was Copp's department store, and then we would go to Devil's Lake so he could take pictures. I was part of the crew hauling his cameras, lenses, and cases up and down the bluff. Remember that? They were heavy.
You got a 1.5 foot lens.
They were so heavy. So, my also funny story is that Bob was quite the repairman. When Margie's new dining room table was delivered to the house on Drummond, it had a wobbly leg. Bob solved that by using a longer screw. It went through the top of the new table.
Oh,
Do you remember that?
no.
They laughed about that for years. My mom still would laugh about that. So, Bob loved cameras, movies, and traveling. I know a highlight for him was his trip to Europe with Gary. I still have the book he brought me from that trip. So Bob lived a wonderful, long life, surrounded by family and friends. He was the last of his group. But that won't stop me from missing him. Thank you.
Does anyone else want to speak?
I really don't have anything prepared. It's okay. Just like every day, I wing everything from my shoe. Oh, give me his hat.
The thinking cap.
Dad loved that hat.
Oh, so much.
I really believe that my father loved this hat because my mother hated it. It gave him lots and lots of attention. Mom, take that damn thing off! No, that was him. That was him. Everything he liked, she hated. And he loved the attention she gave him. But you know, in my youth, I remember my dad as being the stronghold. If ever you wanted anything, you asked my dad. You never talked to my mom. Because it was always no. With him, it'd be like, well, why can't she? But he was really a great guy. We all my friends just loved him so much. You know, he just was easygoing. He never had a mean bone in his body. You know, even at the end when his body was failing him and it was a really, really hard time for him, but he always kept his sense of humor, always his crazy little quotes. Dad, you tired? I was born tired and never got over it. That was my dad. And I feel blessed that he was here for as long as he was, and I feel blessed that we got to experience his passing together. I asked him towards the end, he couldn't talk, I asked him, has Mom come to get you yet? Every time we asked if Mom came for him, and he always said yes, right?
That's the
You
only
know,
reaction we
He
got.
couldn't talk, he couldn't speak, but he did let us know, and he waited for my brother to pass, and we got to send him off the best way we could possibly do it. So he will always and forever be in my heart, my first male love, and we will always remember him. By the way, we are going to have a dinner afterwards at 5 o'clock. You're all welcome to come join us. I have directions on how to get there at Jimmy's Char House, 5 o'clock. I would love everybody to come. Anybody else want to say anything? Miss Rose. Need the hat?
I might cry.
We passed the hat.
You want the hat?
So in like any great tradition, like mother, like daughter, I'm not prepared. I do not have any speeches prepared, but in my experience, sometimes I do my best work with being unexpected. So I just wanted to share some memories that I have of Grandpa. I only got to know him for a third of his life, but he's been a part of my life since day one. And it was really nice to see some of those pictures I've never gotten to see before. I don't think I've ever seen a picture of Grandpa younger than 20. So it's really bittersweet to see those now. But I just remember all the time that we spent on the farm together. Mom would drop me off and say, oh, you're gonna be here for a weekend. And I'd call and say, Mom, can I stay for a week? Can I stay for another week? And I'd spend all summer there. I just loved spending time with Uncle Bob and Aunt Dee, Grandma, Grandpa, and Great Grandma Lillian, you know, all together in one house. They always allowed us to have fun, maybe too much fun on the golf carts, but they had a lot of property and they were always willing to share it with family, with friends. And to touch up on the friendship, I remember when they were living with us in Island Lake, they had bigger parties than I ever had at that house. I would come home and be like, where are all these cars? Who's here? And then out come from the basement, Grandma and Grandma's apartment, there'd be 5 or 6 ladies and gentlemen coming out from a day of bridge. And they just were always socialites through and through. Even Grandma, I have memories of her coordinating luncheons with all of her high school friends. Friendship was always very important to them. Family and friends. I also have a memory too of when we were in Libertyville. I think they came by to visit. They were just the friendliest people, try to make friends anywhere. Grandpa escaped the house one afternoon and was trying to go to Blockbuster to get a new film. And along the way, he's stopping by any person who came his way. How are you doing? Hello. And Grandma's at home. Where is that man? Where did he go off to? He can't walk very far. But he was right down the road going to Blockbuster looking to get videos for the family. He was always thinking about his family. And I loved spending time at the farm because you could always feel the love in the house. And I'm just very thankful that I got to spend my birthday with my grandfather. Although he wasn't talking, and I very much missed his happy birthdays, because every year he remembered and he knew to call and give a happy birthday. And so this year I sang for him and got to spend some time with him. And although he wasn't talking, I knew he was there. I could feel his presence, and very, very thankful for that. I think that's all I got. If anyone else would like to speak.
I don't know. I don't know, I have a story, and I've told this before, but I'm gonna tell it again. Maybe I should stand up, I don't know. Okay, all right,
Go ahead.
okay,
2 times a charm.
I've been here before. This was 2014, and my dad, like I said, was very proud of his days in the Marine Corps. And he saw in some magazine or something like that, that there was this Marine Corps ring, and he just wanted this ring. It was like Gollum, you know. So, you know, for Father's Day, I bought it for him. You know, it wasn't expensive, but and he got it on, but his knuckles became so large from the rheumatoid arthritis, he never could get it off, okay, which he didn't see as a negative. But one day he says, you know, it's bothering me a little. I look, and his finger here was raw from this ring going back and forth and not being able to come up. So we ended up having to go to a hospital to have it removed, because either that was coming off or his finger was. And go to the hospital, and they have a little device, I guess, that goes in, but it took like 40 minutes to get his hand straight enough to put the thing underneath and cut off the ring. In the process, the nurse says to him, this is a true story, this is true. It says, do you know when you had your last tetanus shot? My dad reaches under his shirt and pulls out his dog tags from World War II, his dog tags, and reads off of the back, May 1944. This is a true story.
1944.
This is not a surprising story.
The nurse also happened to mention that he, amongst all of her patients that day, had the best blood pressure and heart rate of anybody. You know, of course, in the emergency room, they probably have, you know, heart patients or something.
All those chemicals from the saccharin.
But that's a story about my dad and his sense of loyalty. And anyway, anybody else? You know, the podium is for sale. No. Anyway, that was my anecdote.
accept this flag to show representation of your loved ones' honorable and faithful service.
Thank you, Jim.
Something for Dallas. Left, face.